Stop, put down your stocks, cancel your crypto portfolio, because I'm about to show you how a piece of cardboard with a fire-breathing lizard on it just beat every single hedge fund manager on Wall Street. This card? This holographic Charizard? It sold for $420,000. That's a 29,000% return on investment. Jeff Bezos wishes his Amazon stock did that well. And the craziest part, the kids who bought this at Toys R Us in 1999 for $5, some of them are now millionaires. And they didn't even mean to invest. They just really liked Charizard. This is the story of the most insane investment bubble in modern history, where 9-year-olds accidentally became better investors than Warren Buffett, where YouTube influencers move markets with a single video, and where a card game for children somehow became a billion-dollar shadow financial system. Buckle up. This is the Pokémon Card Index. Picture this. It's 1999. You're 9 years old. Your mum just gave you $5 to buy a Pokémon booster pack at Toys R Us. You rip it open, and there it is. Holographic Charizard. The card. Your friends lose their mind. You're the king of the playground. Now, here's where it gets interesting. What happens next splits into 2 universes. Universe 1, you're a normal kid. You play with the card, you trade it, you shuffle it into your deck, you bend the corners a little, you spill juice on it. Eventually, it ends up in a shoebox in your closet. Today, it's worth maybe $50. Universe 2, you're a weird kid. You immediately put it in a plastic sleeve, then a rigid holder. You never touch it with your bare hand. Your friends think you're insane. Your mum thinks you're insane. Today, you have $350,000 of cardboard in your closet. The difference between these 2 universes? Being slightly obsessive about a cartoon dragon. Fast forward. Pokémon dies around 2002. The fad is over. Cards get thrown away, donated, lost in move. The surviving population of perfect cards gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Then, 2010 hits. A company called PSA, Professional Sports Authenticator, starts treating Pokémon cards like they're the Mona Lisa. They put them in tamper-proof cases, grade them on a scale of 1 to 10. Suddenly, there's science. PSA 10 means perfect. No edge wear, no scratches, perfect centering. We're talking microscopic precision. And here's the kicker. Out of millions of base set Charizards printed, PSA has only graded 121 as PSA 10. 121. There are more original Picassos in existence than PSA 10 first edition Charizards. Let that sink in. 2010, $5,000. 2015, $15,000. 2020, $200,000. 2021, $470,000. This isn't appreciation. This is a rocket ship. But wait, 2022 hits. The card crashes to $220,000. That's a 53% drop. People who bought at the top? Destroyed. Today, it's back to $350,000. Still insane, still terrifying, still somehow real. Okay, let's get brutal with the data. Because the story is fun, but the math is what matters. If you invested $1,000 in the S&P 500 in the year 2000, today you'd have about $5,500. Not bad. That's how most people build wealth. Slow, steady, boring. If you bought a PSA 10 Charizard for $1,200 in 2000, today you'd have $350,000. That's 290 times your money. S&P 500, 450% return. Gold, 550% return. Real estate, maybe 300% if you're lucky. Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin is insane too, but it didn't exist in 1999. Charizard, 29,000% return. But here's the part that should terrify you. That volatility. The S&P 500's worst year, down 37% in 2008. Painful, very painful. Charizard's worst drop, down 53% in 18 months. That's not a dip, that's a cliff. And selling? You can dump $1 million of stocks in 0.3 seconds. A $350,000 Charizard. You need to find the right buyer, the right auction, the right moment. Could take months. The fees? Oh man, the fees. Grading, $150 to $10,000. Auction house buyers premium, 20%. Seller's commission, 10%. Insurance, more money. Shipping, even more money. You're losing 30% just in friction. Stocks, 0.03%. Basically free. But here's the insane part. The difference between PSA 9 and PSA 10. PSA 9 Charizard, $15,000. PSA 10 Charizard, $350,000. The difference? Edge where you can only see under a microscope, a centering variation of 0.5 millimeter. That's a $335,000 difference for imperfections invisible to the human eye. And here's the statistical nightmare. Out of billions of Pokémon cards ever printed, 0.1% account for 95% of the total market value. Those boxes of Pokémon cards at garage sales, 3,000 cards for $10, that's the other 99.9%. Literally worthless. This market is brutal. You either have a PSA 10 Grail card, or you have expensive kindling. So who's buying these things? Because this is where it gets weird. Player 1. The tech millionaires. These are 35-year-old software engineers making $400,000 a year at Google. Charizard was their childhood dream. Now they can buy that dream. And they do. Player 2. The actual investors, hedge funds, family offices, wealth managers. They're putting Pokémon cards in portfolios next to stocks and bonds. I'm not joking. This is real. Player 3. The flippers. These people are day trading Pokémon cards. They buy new releases, get them graded in weeks, flip for 300% profit. It's the stock market, but with Pikachus. Player 4. The breakers. This is the craziest thing you'll see today. They buy sealed vintage booster boxes. These boxes cost $30,000 to $400,000, and they open them. Live on YouTube. People pay $100 to $1,000 for a slot, the right to whatever comes out of one pack. It's gambling as entertainment, and it's huge. Logan Paul spent $200,000 on a sealed box and opened it for 5 million viewers. That video probably made him more than the cards were worth. The infrastructure? Insane. 2019, PSA graded 3 million cards. 2021, 14.7 million cards. They got so overwhelmed, they had to stop accepting submission. They literally couldn't grade cards fast enough. Major auction houses, Heritage, Golden, companies that sell Babe Ruth baseball cards, now have entire departments for Pokémon. There are actual investment funds, fractional ownership platform. You can buy shares in a Charizard like it's Apple stock. Companies offer loans using Pokémon cards as collateral. Let me repeat that. You can take out a loan using cardboard as collateral. But the dark side? Oh, it's dark. Counterfeits, sophisticated fakes, resealed vintage packs, artificial scarcity manipulation, market manipulation. When Logan Paul bought card, prices jumped 30% overnight. One person moved the entire market. Wash trading, sellers buying their own cards at auction to create fake price floors. It happens in art. It happens here. This is an unregulated market with all the corruption of Wall Street and none of the oversight. Okay, real talk time. Should you invest in Pokémon cards? Financial advisors will tell you maximum 5% of your portfolio in collectibles. And that's if you're already wealthy. Because here's what the internet doesn't show you. The failures. The person who bought a raw Charizard for $5,000 sent it to PSA and got a PSA 6. Now it's worth $300. The person who bought at the $470,000 peak in 2021 and watched it drop to $220. That's a $250,000 loss. The person who bought a PSA 10 that turned out to be counterfeit. You don't see these stories because they're not viral, but they're everywhere. And here's the thing. You're not competing against other casual collectors. You're competing against people who've spent 10,000 hours studying this. They know print runs, error variations, grading standards, factory defects, population dynamics. You know, Charizard is cool. That's not a fair fight. Oh, and taxes. Pokémon cards are taxed at 28% capital gain, not the preferential 15 to 20% for stocks. The IRS treats them like art. And the nuclear scenario. What if the market dies? It's happened before. Beanie Babies, 90s comics. These markets imploded. Pokémon depends on millennial nostalgia. What happens when Gen Alpha, who grew up with Fortnite, becomes the dominant buyer? Will they care about a 1999 card game? Maybe, maybe not. And that uncertainty should terrify anyone betting their future on this. So, what happens next? 3 possible futures. Future 1. Blue chip transformation. The ultra-rare cards become like Picassos. Museums buy them. They're cultural artifacts. The top 0.01% of cards keep climbing. Everything else dies. Future 2. The bubble pop. Interest rates rise. Economy tanks. Nobody cares anymore. Prices crash 80%. The market becomes a graveyard. You lose everything. Future 3. Maturation. The market stabilizes. Returns moderate to 5 to 10% annually. It becomes boring, which might actually be the best outcome. The experts are split. Some say exponential growth continues. Some say this is the dumbest bubble since tulip mania. The data says PSA 10s are genuinely rare. Demand is real, but speculation and manipulation create massive risk. Here's the sensible take. If you love Pokémon cards, buy them, enjoy them, display them. If they go up, great. If not, you still have something cool. But if you're betting your retirement on graded Charizards, you're making a huge mistake, because a boring index fund portfolio will almost certainly make you wealthier with way less stress over 30 years. Yes, the PSA 10 Charizard is the best performing asset of the past 25 years. That's factual, but it's one card out of billions. The survival rate, fractions of a percent. This isn't investing. This is buying a lottery ticket. And sometimes lottery tickets win, but usually they don't. In 1999, some kids got lucky. They kept their cards perfect without meaning to. Some of them became millionaires by accident, but trying to replicate that in 2025, in a market dominated by professionals, with six-figure entry point, with unregulated manipulation, that's not luck. That's gambling. The Pokémon Card Index, where playground trades became portfolio theory, where childhood nostalgia became a financial instrument, where 9-year-olds accidentally beat Wall Street. It's the most insane, most fascinating, most terrifying investment story of the 21st century. Is it brilliant? Is it stupid? Is it both? I don't know, but I can't stop watching, and neither can you.